Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Thursday night here for Above the Cushion, the official podcast for Humboldt Speedway and 81 Speedway. Looking forward to this weekend's action because it kind of was a little bit of a downer last night as had to cancel the high limit race here at 81 Speedway. So we were really looking forward to that. High Limits was excited they were ready to go, but after some evaluation, just a little bit too much precipitation going to fall here at the Speedway, and then of course it continued to rain as the radar indicated it was going to kind of quit in the afternoon, but it kept raining until about 8 o'clock here at the Speedway. So had a lot of questions. Why didn't we run on Thursday night here at the Speedway? Just absolutely too saturated in the pit area. So track, of course, we probably could have got it worked in, but we weren't going to get any of the haulers into the pits and just would have been too much of a mess. So that is, I know there's been some questions about how come we didn't run Thursday after the rain quit, but it rained till about 8:03 here at the Speedway, and it just absolutely drenched the entire pit area. And that's kind of the issue at the Speedway is the pit area. If it gets a little bit too much moisture, then we're not going to be able to get haulers in and out, and don't want to get anyone stuck here at the Speedway. So unfortunately had to cancel the high limit show. High Limits made that call yesterday afternoon, and they're on to Lakeside in Kansas City tomorrow night. So moving forward to Friday night at Humboldt for the Xtreme Outlaw Series, we have a Michael Faccinto on the line. We're going to bring him in here in just a second, but I want to remind everyone tomorrow night over at Humboldt Speedway, pit gate's going to open at 5, grandstand 6 o'clock. Hot lap's going to start about 7:15 with races to follow. Pit pass is going to be $40 for all ages, $25 for advanced reserved, $30 day of. Advanced adult general admission, $20 and day of $25. Children 6 to 12 are $10 for general admission. No outside food or drink allowed into the facility, of course. No coolers, weapons, any kind like that. No seat cushions are allowed to have backs or metal pieces in the grandstands at Humboldt Speedway. And we also have the clear bag policy over there. Going to, of course, have the Xtreme Outlaw Midgets with us, and it's going to be an absolutely fantastic night. We will also have 2 of our weekly championship point series in competition as well with Extrusions Inc., Midwest Mods, and your Home Savings Bank factory stocks. So currently on the phone line, Michael is here. Michael, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, I appreciate. Tyler Bachman reached out to me last night. We had a good. I've met him a couple times. Of course, we've had the midgets with us at both speedways the last couple of years, and he reached out and said, "I'll get you someone." And then today he came up with your name. So I really appreciate you taking the time out. And where are you in the country?
Right now, I'm sitting here at in Tulsa at the Trifecta Motorsports Shop, just getting ready to head towards you guys tomorrow.
So of course, Tulsa, you've had a lot of success down in Tulsa, of course, at the Expo Center down there. But before we get to that, how does this even how do you even get into this? I'm always curious of how people get into this crazy world.
Well, I was born into it. My dad raced for a long time sprint cars out in California. My grandpa actually was a flagman at a racetrack that we still race at currently there in California, Lemoore Raceway. And so my dad got started. He ran for a long time, and then 8 years old, I'm chomping at the bit to race. So the junior sprint class kind of started out in California at that time, and at 9 we got going, and I just moved myself up through the ranks of the micro sprints, junior sprints, restricted, and ran those till I was about 15 years old. And it was just second nature. I was in the grandstands at a month old, so it was just racing's always been in my blood.
Once you kind of just stay around the California area and race, and then just in the last couple of years, kind of started venturing out away from home and really getting the kind of the nation thing. But of course, like we said, Tulsa's Tulsa's been pretty good to you. Had a lot of success there in the micros, and of course, been running with Trifecta for the Chili Bowl stuff. Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Tulsa's the shootout and Chili Bowl. I mean, that's kind of it's crazy that that race or that week of shootout when you're younger, it really gets your name out there. There's so many eyes on it, especially nowadays. I feel like even with Larson coming and running this last year, and some of these guys that they see it as track time before the Chili Bowl, but the shootout, what it's done for a lot of racers is pretty cool. Now I haven't tasted victory lane there in a couple of years, but I will always go back. It's got a special place in my heart, and obviously, teaming up with Trifecta 2 years ago was so cool. Just kind of Steve Carbone put a post out on, I believe, Twitter, and I reached out to him, and we just clicked instantly and ran ninth that year. And this last year we missed the main by 3 spots, but it led to where I am today, and being out on the road with the Xtreme Outlaw Midgets it's always been a goal of mine to get out here and do this. And I'm excited to finally get this season going underway. Obviously, we got rained out last night at Creek County, but get to Humboldt and the 81, and then we have a busy month of May.
Kind of the transition from micros to the midgets is not too far off. Kind of a similar size type car and weight transfer, but you also do some winged stuff as well.
Yeah, I growing up, I was primarily a wing, micro guy. And my dad was a wing sprint car guy. My brother, he raced wing sprint cars as well. So I ran midgets, and then I dabbled in the wing stuff a little bit, and we'll still do it to this day. I've always prided myself on being versatile. I want to say, one day I won in everything I drove. So it's pretty cool to be able to say I've done that.
You guys are embarking on your rookie season with the Outlaws, but this isn't you're not a rookie to the midgets. I mean, you've done quite a bit of midget racing. Believe picked up a championship in 22 on the out there in the Californias. Is that correct?
Yeah, 22 and 18. I won, I believe, that USAC Western States midget series, and then definitely ran midgets. Like I said, that was primarily my main thing for a while, and then I still run the micros and dabble in the wing sprint car stuff. But the midgets, yeah, for them to call me a rookie, it's kind of weird to hear, since I'm definitely older and everything. But like I said, I mean, it really is that kind of dream come true. And I couldn't think of better guys to do it with, with Janky, my crew chief, and Steve, and the great partners we have on board. I mean, um, I'm excited. I'm just excited to get the season going. It's kind of been a slow start with weather and everything. So we're excited here at the Trifecta shop.
You of course run a couple of years with Trifecta at the Chili Bowl, but talk about the car difference there, because I know there's a difference between the car that you're going to tour with all year and then the car that you run at the Chili Bowl. How much different are the two cars?
I mean, a couple years ago there was a big difference. People were running the lighter frames and everything, but now with the new rule update, I'm actually running the same car I ran at Chili Bowl,
Okay.
because of the way the rules are now. With Chili Bowl, I think this was the first year they updated the rules, and first time ever, I think they had rules for frames. I'm be honest, I am 100% supportive of that. I think that it leveled the playing field, and it's just safer. I mean, even at Chili Bowl, it's a small racetrack, but how fast we're going, it definitely was needed.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times and stood down in turn 3, and like I said there, I mean that thing's tiny. I mean I can't believe that all they start all 24 of those cars, but they're absolutely hauling the mail. And if anyone's listening and you've never been to Chili Bowl, you have to do it at least once. I mean, it's nuts to see the pits and how they run the features and how they run the qualifiers, and it's amazing.
No, absolutely. I mean, I would tell exactly what you said. If you haven't been to Chili Bowl, you got to go. And if you've never seen midgets before and you're listening, yeah, get out to Humboldt and 81 this weekend. I think that the outdoor stuff has definitely um, picked up in the last couple of years on the midget side as well. Really, 81 Speedway is going to be, really fast. I've been there in a wing sprint car. It's been a couple of years now. And it's a big fast joint, and I really think the midgets will put on a good show. And I've watched probably every video of Humboldt. Never personally been there, but I'm excited. It looks like a really fun racetrack, and the midgets always seem to put on a good show.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling everyone. Like, when it comes, because we've been in two, in a double header for Humboldt and 81 the whole time that we've been with the Xtreme Outlaw Series, and
Hmm.
you really have to do both races on the weekend because you're going to get to see two completely different races. Humboldt, as you mentioned, you've watched some videos. It's a very technical track. It's four completely different corners, two different stretches. I mean, and it's close quarters, and it's a typical, I guess a midget type
Right.
track. It's small, and then as T-Mez once called 81 Speedway the absolute speed fest. So we use that a little bit, but
Yeah.
you get here and then it's all about who can stay in the gas and who can carry the momentum and just get around the speedway. I think it was 81 one of the was the biggest track that the midgets go to, but or the Xtreme Outlaw Series. But I think maybe they've added another 3/8. I know they did last year, but I don't know if you guys are running that one this year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure, but I really believe 81 is, you know, gonna be, like you said, the momentum thing. And keeping your elbows tucked in and being as smooth as possible. I remember being there in the wing car, and we're, I mean, you're hauling in a 360 wing sprint car there. So with the midget with no wing on top and how fast these things and twitchy they are, it will definitely put on a good show.
As you kind of embark across the country for your, quote unquote
Yeah.
rookie season, uh, you're going to come across a lot of tracks that you've, I believe you made the statement, a lot of tracks I've not been to before.
Hmm.
What is your strategy when you come to a track? Is it watching video? Is it talking with, some travel mates on the series? What's your strategy as you get kind of embarked across the country?
Yeah, no, the videos are the biggest thing, and if I can find in car videos, that helps even more. Um, it's just like, racing nowadays is just like anything else with a football, a baseball, a basketball. I mean, you got to study. Um, it's not even just studying the racetrack; it's studying the race car drivers that you're racing against. There's definitely people out there that will help on the series, but at the end of the day, we're all competitors. We're not going to give away all the tricks and all that stuff. I definitely lean on if my cousins Carson and Cole Macedo that
Mhm.
are on the Outlaw Tour, if they've been to some of these tracks that I'm going to, if they can help me out, and they have. So it's been that's been the biggest thing is over the last probably I would say 7-8 years, the video has made racing tougher because you can go back and watch a race from 2019 and the track can end up being that same way and you can relate to go back to that video.
I would say for both Humboldt and 81, we have a really great group that works with us, and we're all a team, and we have some of the same track prep. So,
Yeah.
for these two tracks, the videos that you've watched, you're pretty much going to see the same type of racing surface. we try not to, unless of course the rain here at 81, it's,
Yeah.
we're going to get it worked in so it's not roughed up or anything. But the rain sometimes will play with you, but we try to get these surfaces the same, every week, and so people can rely on a surface when they come to Humboldt and 81.
Absolutely, and that's really good to hear from a race car driver standpoint. And obviously rain and weather, you can't control any of that. That's just how it works out sometimes. But the videos I've watched of Humboldt, slick, smooth, two lanes of racing. It's a racetrack that reminds me a lot of, like you said, the midget bull rings and kind of some of the stuff that I see in California. But there's nothing like 81, out in California for a midget. So, but it's the videos I've watched. Smooth is, as long as it's smooth, I think we'll be able to put on a really, really good show.
Just kind of looking at the schedule for Xtreme for the year, and what's a racetrack that you're really excited to go to? Something, I'm assuming it's going to be something in the Pennsylvania area that's just so embarked with open wheel. But what's a track that you've not been to before, but you're just like, I'm ready to get there now. Let's go. Let's do that one.
I am very excited to go to Coles County. Um, and the reason being, it's a very short racetrack. Um, I think it's probably one of the shorter ones on the tour, and it's just like anything I race. That's kind of what I grew up on. Um, so I think that's why I'm most excited for it. And yes, the PA swing, I'm excited for as well, just because never been out that way. And you watch videos of the places, and again, they're small racetracks, and that's what I grew up on. So those are probably the two places I'm most excited to go to.
um, you know, Technology's come a long way with your guys' cars, and making, like you mentioned, of course the Chili Bowl's making some rules changes, but talk about what adjustments that you can make in the car on a race night.
Yeah, I mean, being in a driver in one of these midgets nowadays, I got 5 shock adjusters in my car. So as a race goes on, or if the track starts slicking off and getting really to a point where you did everything, they did everything in the pits, my crew chief did. Now I got to make up for it with the shocks. Lifting the front end up when it gets slick, or tying my right rear down and stuff like that. But that's you know those adjustments with the shocks are um, crucial, and you could go the wrong way and totally mess up your night. So understanding what those shocks do is a big deal. We have a very good relationship with Sure Built Suspensions, Factory Cane Shocks, and Mike and I work a lot together on micro stuff and midget stuff. So it's nice to bounce ideas off of him and have him in my corner.
I think that's some of the wildest stuff, especially at Humboldt, there's a couple of drivers, they're turning the car sideways at the flag stand, getting into one, and they're top to bottom, they're slide jobs like crazy, and then when I've been working the infield the last couple of
Yeah.
years, doing the infield announcing, and then you walk around and hey, thanks for coming, appreciate a great race, and they're talking about the drivers in there making adjustments why they're sideways, and it's like this,
Yeah.
this is just absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's actually it's kind of funny. I had a conversation with my crew chief here, and we ran Farmer City about a month ago, and he's like, "Yeah, we watched the video, and you're adjusting the shocks going down the back straightaway. Like what? Like he's asking what he could do to make the car better, but I'm just like, yeah, it's just a natural thing. It's just like pulling a tear off, right? I mean, it's just, oh, I'm a little free here. Let's go lift up. Let's go raise the left front up a little bit. So for us drivers, it's natural. With someone watching from the infield, I could see how that could be kind of eye opening, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because some people have the bodies going up both sides, so you can't really see, too much going on. But then there's some people that have the, traditionally on the left
Yep.
side, no sheet metal stuff like that. But as far as you know, are you a mechanic person, or are you a mechanically inclined person, or are you making setup suggestions or working on the car, or are you letting the team do that? How does your
Yeah.
kind of chemistry work with your team?
I mean, so I come from obviously a racing background. So growing up, I worked on race cars. My dad, instilled that in my brother and I to, you can be a race car driver, but you got to understand how it works too. And I actually own my own micro team out on the West Coast. Uh, so very hands-on person. But when I come out here, I try to just to be a race car driver. Talk to the crew chief. I'll have suggestions on what I think it could be do, what can be done, but at the same time, I have full trust in him to make the right ones. So I just try to come out here and focus on watching the racetrack, watching how it develops throughout the night, and just going out there and racing.
Another thing, people, you guys are traveling up and down the road, quite a bit. What is it? What does your year kind of look like to kind of get back to home base, just to kind of reset, just to have some. I know a lot of people travel up and down in the toter, and that it's
Hmm.
just a grind. It's an absolute, just going crazy all the time, and sometimes you just need to reset. What are you doing just to make sure you don't get kind of burn out as the year goes on?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's, me living in California and flying out to these races. Um, that's a grind in itself for just the travel part of it, right? But just and I work at D1 chassis driven performance, and getting back home and just you almost got to turn your brain off for a day or two, just to kind of process how the weekend went and everything, and then it's right back to like we talked about studying where's the next race, studying that. We raced 3 times in May, 3 weekends in May, where it's flying back and forth for me. And luckily these guys here at Trifecta, they get everything done and get everything, prepped. So it's for me, it's probably not as bad as for other guys, but just the mental side of it is kind of just take a day or two to for yourself and get back to square one, and then reevaluate how the weekend went.
How much communication are you doing with trifecta? I know that the year is kind of new, and you guys are probably still
Yeah,
working on it, but is there a dedicated time just to sit down and have a conference call? Let's just talk about how it went, what we can do better, and where we're at.
absolutely. I mean, Bobby, uh, Milsner, the crew chief, and I, we talk probably 3 or 4 times a week. Um, just ideas, right? You just sit down and he pencils in on his notebook of what he thinks he can do, and then we talk about the last race at Farmer City. We've talked about it for a month now, still, and that's just trying to get better. Um, and it's good to have a relationship with your crew chief that you can do that.
Um, before I know we kind of talked about a little bit of time because you guys are trying to get
Yeah,
get packed up,
you're
but
fine.
before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to thank everyone that helps you, supports you, all your partners. I want to give you some opportunity to shout out, where fans can find you on social media and follow along,
Yeah,
and of course, if you got some merchandise, where can they get something?
absolutely. I mean, I have to obviously thank these trifecta guys: Steve Carbone, Flurry Stables. They're a big sponsor of ours. Kiwi Landscaping, Blackjack Express, Sherbilt, Factory Cane Shocks. All those guys, they've to do what we do up and down the road. It takes a village. So I can't express that enough to them. Rockwell Security as well. They've came on board this year. My social media is on X, Instagram, Facebook's just at Michael Faccinto. Yeah, and if you're at Humboldt and 81 Speedway, this weekend and you want to grab some merch, we have t-shirts in the trailer. And we are working on some new merch as well. So I hope everyone listening, hope to see you guys out at the track this weekend and, come by and say hi.
Well, man, I really appreciate your time, and I know you guys are busy trying to get everything squared away before you head on to the famous Humboldt and
Yep.
the Hummer in Humboldt, Kansas, man, and I really appreciate you taking some time out to talk to me and taking the phone call and looking forward to this weekend and try to get down and see one of the nights. Of course, I'll be there. Of course, both nights. I'm the announcer for
Yeah.
both of the tracks, so get down and see
Awesome.
you. And man, we just really appreciate you, and we're looking forward. This is probably one of the most exciting nights of the year to have the midgets because it is just it it's it's the best time. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys, for having me. And yeah, like I said, if, get out there, get in the grandstands and come see us after the races. We'll be down there. We got hero cards, sign some autographs for the kids and everything else. So, again, thank you for having me.
Yep, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow at Humboldt.
All right, man. Thank you.
Have a great night. Well, good conversation there with Michael Faccinto. I want a couple things. We got stuff to talk about. Like I said, good conversation with him. Got to thank Tyler Bachman with the Xtreme Outlaw Series for getting us hooked up, and appreciate all those guys. It's again, if you have not experienced a Extreme Outlaw race at either one of the speedways, Humboldt or 81, maybe you've been to Humboldt, not been to 81, maybe you've been to 81, not to Humboldt or whatever. You got to get, and you really have to experience both of them. I know that it's a little bit taxing to get back and forth in between both tracks, but you're going to see two completely different races, Friday and Saturday, and they're both going to be amazing. They're both going to just knock your socks off, but you're going to see two completely different races. If you can't make it to the track, we invite you to get on Dirt Vision. Everything will be streamed through the Dirt Vision. You can get on there and get you a 1-day pass if you don't have a subscription. But of course, we'd love to have you in the grandstands at Humboldt or 81 Speedway. But like I said, if you absolutely cannot make it, and we understand, Dirt Vision is the place to be, so you can make sure you get all of the action for the Xtreme Outlaw Series. Another thing, John Allen has a couple notes here. If you didn't know, there is a suite over at Humboldt, and also some seat backs in front of the suite. Both of those are you can call and reserve those, so you can have your party inside the suite there. It's climate controlled. It's got a TV. Typically has something streaming in there. You can, if you want to watch. You want to log into your Dirt Vision or your Flow Racing and watch while you're watching weekly championship points or another series at the track. Inside of the suite, there's 10 seats, and then in the seat backs in front of the suite, 15 of them out there. All that is you can reserve that for your party. Contact GM John Allen to if you would like to reserve some of that. I know that for some of the shows through the rest of the year, that has been reserved by a couple people. But of course, if you're looking for this weekend or maybe another weekend, give John Allen a call and he can get you taken care of. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. A lot of questions. How come we didn't race Thursday? High Limit wasn't raced until Friday. I can tell you it was a conversation, but it's just absolutely too saturated in the pits here at the Speedway. It rained till about 8:03 last night at the Speedway, and the crew was here, just trying to get some equipment out just to get it kind of packed down in the pits. But just a little too much, to try to work on it. So High Limit made the decision. They moved on. JR and I have both been up all night, sick about it. Wanted to see that race. We've been wanting to see it. Just gonna, we're just fighting against Mother Nature. High Limit, had initially talked about maybe moving it back in the night, but then the radar just showed that it was just going to downpour on us. So had to make the decision. Of course, Rico Abreu and Tanner Holmes had a little pop-up shop this afternoon from 4 to 6 o'clock, so I know it's over. Hope everyone got over there and got some T-shirts, talked to them two guys. That was absolutely awesome of them to do that. Wish a few more drivers would have done that. Wish I could have made it. I wanted to get some stuff for myself and my son, but of course, have a typical 9 to 5 job. Couldn't make it over there, and then we have a show tonight. Wanted to get this info out for you fans. So if you got over there to Rico and Tanner, tag the Speedway in the pictures. We'd love to see it. We'd love your support of those guys, and we appreciate them for doing a little pop up shop as well to try to get some. It's kind of it was a bummer. Last night was an absolute bummer. No fun. We don't want to cancel. High Limit doesn't want to cancel. We wanted to race. We tried to make it work. It just Mother Nature just fought too hard against us. So there's been some questions about a reschedule. Have to talk to JR and Katie. Haven't really been talking to them much today. Got a couple things as we move forward to the weekend, but there wasn't too much conversation about a reschedule. So if there is any news, of course, you're going to hear it right here on Above the Cushion or to the Facebook page as well. So we appreciate everyone. We appreciate everyone for, understanding and if you, of course, I saw some updates. People already got their tickets refunded. Of course, all that goes through High Limit. If you have questions, we can direct you to some High Limit stuff, but all refunds do come from High Limit. So nothing here at the Speedway where, we wouldn't be able to, do anything with that. We can just kind of give you a phone number or a website to visit for that. But I did see some updates and people already got refunded. So hopefully that process is going good for everyone. But as we get headed towards tomorrow night with the Xtreme Outlaw Series, it's absolutely beautiful over in Humboldt, Kansas. Gate's going to open at 5, grandstand at 6 o'clock. 7:15, we'll get hot lap and races to follow as the Xtreme Outlaws do a little bit of time trialing and some other stuff. So we'll be paying attention to that. Of course, Extrusion Inc., Midwest Mods, and your Home Savings Bank factory stock for tomorrow night. For weekly championship points action, we do encourage all of our Allied battery stock cars to try to make it over Friday night to race with Home Savings Bank factory stock. We'd love to see just a absolute 40 stock cars over there to race with those guys. But I understand everyone has a Friday job and maybe you can't get away, but we'd love to have the stock cars start making their way over to Humboldt. Going on to Saturday right here at 81 Speedway, kind of a little bit of the same story. 3 o'clock, the pit's going to open. 5 o'clock, grandstand will open. 6:15, hot laps, and then, of course, racing to follow with qualifying and stuff that the Xtreme Outlaws do. Pit passes are $40. Trackside parking, so the pit side party spots, those are $30 plus your pit pass. Maybe you don't want to park in the pit side party spots, but you want to park your vehicle in the pits. Going to be kind of limited. They are $20 to park your car inside of the fence plus your pit pass. Of course, all of that plus your pit pass. So if you want a pit side party spot on the backstretch, it's $30 plus your pit pass. You want to park your car just inside the gate so you can kind of get out of here a little bit quicker, $20 plus your pit pass. So we love to have everyone out at both tracks. Again, if you can't make it out, if you can't make it out to one of them, Dirt Vision going to be the spot. No race in dirt this weekend here. At 81 Speedway for the support classes for the Xtreme Outlaw Midgets, it's a weekly championship points action, JLR Property Management 316A Modifieds, and your Wickham Heating and Air Conditioning Mini Stock and Tuners. Has been a little rules adjustment for this Saturday for JLR Property Management 316A Modified. So how it works, if you don't know here at the Speedway, top 10 for USRA Alternative Pest Management USRA points not allowed to run with JLR Property Management 316A Modifieds. Car count been a little low for the 316 cars, so for this Saturday special edition, top 5 not going to be allowed to run. That rule will stand for the top 5. So if you're unsure if you're in the top 5, here's how it rolls right now. Tyler Davis, Dan Powers, Austin Rogers, Peyton Phillips, and Kirby Robe. Those are the only 5 cars that are not allowed to run Saturday night with JLR Property Management 316A Modifieds. 6th through 10th in the point standings. You guys are good to run. And then, of course, the rest of the field for Alternative Pest Management USRA Modifieds, allowed to run. So the 6th through 10th is going to be Ricky Bonham, Alex Kamen, Kenton Allen, Chris Kratzer, Slot King Chris, and Logan Johnson. 6th through 10th, you guys will be able to run with JLR Property Management 316 modifieds Saturday night, and of course we'd love to have the whole entire field here with us, as well as we want to try to pump up JLR Property Management 316A modifieds, and of course Wickham Heating and Air Conditioning Mini Stock and Tuners. That has been an absolute awesome race. Of course, David Bice picks up his very first win Saturday night here at the Speedway. Great win by David in the 26D car. You know, been excited for that team and excited for their season. Wickham Heating and Air Conditioning Mini Stock and Tuners had a great car count all year long, so we're looking forward, as we already know, a few cars are going to continue to make their way out as they're still kind of working on them and getting everything aligned as get ready for race season. So it's going to be an absolutely fantastic weekend. Friday night, Humboldt, going to be awesome. Saturday at 81, going to be absolutely fantastic. Look, great weather as we move towards the weekend. Might be a little chilly towards the end of the night, but you know, we're looking for clear skies. We're looking for good temperatures. We're looking for great racing as well. So really looking forward to this weekend with the Xtreme Outlaw Series. That's all my notes from the higher ups today. You know, again, the suites over at Humboldt Speedway, if you're interested, you want a little bit more information, you want to see if a weekend's opened, contact John Allen. He's got all that information, and you know, and he can tell you what it costs to rent the suite. He can tell you what it costs to rent the seat backs. He can tell you if a weekend is open, if you'd like to have we've had birthday parties over there. We've had last year we had a graduation party with us for weekly championship points night, and they reserved the booth. Of course, special events as we move forward through the year with World Outlaws late models at the end of the year, you know, stuff like that. Those kind of events is where people will reserve the suite. So if you're interested in a weekend, contact John Allen. You can get a hold of him on Facebook. You can call him. Let me pull up his number. I don't have it memorized. You can call him over at Allen's Automotive. You can catch him at the Speedway. You can see him here at 81. You can see him at Humboldt. But his phone number, 620-431-8073. John Allen's number. If you're, like I said, if you're interested in a weekend to rent the suite over at Humboldt, or the chair or the seat backs in front of the suite right there. It's right below the announcer's tower. Again, it's climate controlled. You got a TV in there. You can sign in and watch the races on the track. You can watch the races streaming. It's a great time. Again, contact John Allen for all that information. He can get you set up. That's what I got. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you. It's been a two show week here as we get headed towards the weekend. And again, it was just an absolute bummer last night. It's not been any fun. It's we don't want to cancel. I can guarantee you. No, we don't want to cancel. High Limits didn't want to cancel. 81. Everyone here at 81, we didn't want to cancel. We tried to make it work. They talked about it. They had a meeting for a while, trying to make it work, trying to get everything going. It just is just too much moisture. It was just not a good deal. So, like I said, still too wet here at the Speedway to even get haulers in for tonight's action. So it's made the decision. And like I said, if hear any word on a reschedule, then of course we're going to get that information out, because we would absolutely love to have the High Limits here. Of course, we rescheduled the Outlaws race from earlier in the year. That's going to be in October, so we're looking forward to that, as well as that one's already been rescheduled. It's back on the website. Go ahead and check that out. But if I hear any news on a reschedule, absolutely let you guys know, and you're going to hear it here first for Above the Cushion. That is going to do it for me tonight. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate each and every one of you. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night at Humboldt for Xtreme Outlaw Midgets. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday, of course, for Xtreme Outlaw Midgets as well. Appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you at the races this weekend, but if not, we'll see you right here next Thursday for another edition of Above the Cushion.